Wall Street advisors ain't geniuses, and JP Morgan has got to be joking. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. So I got this email, as I do regularly. I worked for a little company called Washington Mutual back in the day. And, we had an in-house financial system called WM Financial. People go, oh, Washington Mutual. No, we just call it WM. It doesn't actually mean anything because the two entities are legally separate, which I thought was weird. But, oh, no, it's just a requirement. It's just a requirement. Is it? Is it? So, over them years, I started my IRA when I was like 18, 19, whatever the legal minimum age was at the time. I think it was 18. I started an IRA. And the very first thing they did was I put in the maximum $2,000. And the investment they chose for me went down in value. And so they dinged me with a fee for being under $2,000. And it was insane. Anyway, through the 90s, I kept adding to it. I must have added $30,000 to my IRA. So by the year 2000, my IRA was already up to $20,000, thanks to the wonderful advice that I got from financial advisors. So I just left it there. When I left the bank, I left it there. Washington Mutual was bought out. It became Chase, and my WM Financial account became JP Morgan Chase. And I never heard from them, ever, about anything. And actually, my $30,000 ended up all the way down to $10,000 after the full realization of the dot crunch. And it was genuinely brutal and painful. And I just forgot about it, just left it there. And I had it in Microsoft. I had Immunex, which became Amgen, which became just lost money. I had Veritas, something like that. It was a digital switch back end, who knows. Anyway, eventually over time it became $20,000 again. But now $20,000 in your 40s, not very exciting for your entire retirement account. So I went into the bank, I went into JP Morgan, and I was like, you know what? Here's what I want to do. Whatever I've got, let's sell it. Sell it all and put me into a S&P 500 tracking stock. A Fortune 500, S&P, some kind of just a ETF that's low fee and just tracks that. The guy had all kinds of advice for me. I didn't end up taking his advice because these guys are a joke. So now there's a trigger, and every time you pass a $100,000 mark in either direction, you get a notice from JP Morgan saying, hey man, come in for a tune-up. But this one I hadn't paid attention to. No advisory fee for your first 6 months. Wait. Oh, what are you talking about? Advisory fee? So here's their asset management. So, oh, we do all this stuff. We offer, insights and a podcast and price charts and metrics. And that sounds like a website. You offer me a website, right? Well, no, you can talk to a person too. I mean, I can. But wait a minute. You said no fee for 6 months, okay? Let's take a look. JP Morgan Personal Advisors Review, pros, cons, and how it compares. Relatively lower account minimum of $25,000, low expense ratios, and those with $250,000 in assets or more get access to a dedicated individual advisor. Oh, isn't that wonderful? But on here it says that you've got to pay something like 0.4 to 0.6% of the total every year, which sounds a little high until you actually go to the Chase website and you find that no, it's 1.45% if you want, any kind of advisory. That sounds high. Is that high? So the question is, are they a fiduciary? Do they care about you? And the answer is legally, yes, they are. As a fee-based firm, certain advisors at JP Morgan may be able to sell financial products on a commission basis. And while this represents a potential conflict of interest, the firm's fiduciary duty means it's legally bound to act on a client's best interests. Yes, David, of the total every year. Now, remember I said I went in and I talked to a guy. I said, sell me out of everything. I want triple Q. And he said, no, you don't. What you want is this mutual fund that I like. I'm real excited about it. And he really, really pushed it. He was really, really excited about it. And I said, I tell you what, why don't we do 75% in triple Q and 25% in this mutual fund you're pushing? And he goes, great, let's do it. But I do have to tell you the fee is going to be, and I don't remember how much it was, but astronomical. Just to sell my stocks was going to be a big chunk, like hundreds of dollars. And then, yeah, and I was like, wait, I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever paid for a trade in my life. Because as a bank employee, we didn't pay for trades. And as a digital client, I've never paid for a trade. And he goes, well, you can go home and do it online yourself. And I was like, oh, Jesus, here we go. So I go home, I spend too much time getting logged into my account, and I go take a look at what I have, and what I had was triple Q. I already had it. He knew that. He could see it, and he was going to... I came in to say, give me a thing, and his job was to say, you have that thing. But instead, he said... And I was furious. I was livid. And that's when I decided, these guys are absolute clowns. But they have, someone can look it up if they feel like it, a price target on Tesla that's always been very, very low. When it was trading at $400 a share, I want to say their price target was $40. But 1.45, how does that compare? Well, equity ETFs, like triple Q, 0.16% in expense ratios. Mutual funds, much higher, 0.47%. This says mutual funds could be anywhere in the 0.25 to 1% range. You're telling me Kevin at my local branch is going to outperform your mutual fund manager? Because your mutual fund manager should be doing a better job than Kevin. No offense to the dude down at your local branch, but come on now. And even the mutual funds don't outperform triple Q. It's insane. How much money are we even talking about? If you have 10 grand, it's $12 a month. And I don't know if it is. I think there's a minimum that you have to pay. There is a minimum. I just don't remember. Minimum is, well, anyway, it's terrible. And if you got $1 million, you're paying $1,200 a month. That's insane. Why would I want to pay hundreds of dollars a month for some... Oh, Kevin, in the chat, I apologize. I didn't mean you. I meant the other... I meant Kevin James. No. I just had to pick a name. I apologize. There's only 25 people in the live stream. Odds of me picking someone who's here was very low, and I apologize. This is insane. That's an insane amount of money for... And if you've got under $250,000, you don't even get a dedicated person. You get a desk. You get a rotating person. You get someone who doesn't know who you are when you call them. And when you get over a quarter... So I've got to pay at least $300 a month for someone to even know who I am. That seems like you could get a better deal locally on different services for that price. So that's actually it. Don't forget, I'm leaving. I'm heading out of town on Sunday to go to Fully Charged. Interestingly, we're going to talk about the Starship here in a second. We got this coming up. I do want to thank my patrons who get early access, bonus content, and absolutely keep the channel running. But Fully Charged, this is fun. I speak right at the opening on Friday. And unfortunately, Robert Llewellyn's going to be on the main stage at the same time as I'm on for my only panel. And my only panel is, are electric car conversions the next big business? Not sure how I ended up on this panel of all the topics. That's, I mean, I can speak to it, but whew, there's so many other great topics. Fortunately, I've had a chance to chat with Jack at length at the last Fully Charged. So hopefully I'd like to just kind of hang out, just kind of follow him around, and because he's going to be hosting a bunch of panels, and fill in for anyone who doesn't make it, maybe. Because he's got, our supply chain shocks the new norm. Electric, cart, Actually, those topics aren't even all that great. There's a bunch of really great ones. Which companies could end up in an electric graveyard? That's one that I should be on. Oh, you got 2 fully charged folks. Come on, man. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But in any case, I will be seeing Lars there. And I'll be meeting a number of fine folks from the channel. It's very exciting. So now, with a bunch of minutes left to go, and by the way, you won't see Jeff in the chat. He is in transit right now. He's in Canada, vaguely en route to England. Hey, did anybody hear that there was a little bit of a launch this week? By the way, when you go, this is the road that you're allowed to go on. That's how close you can get. This right here is Starhopper. It survived to see another day. Down here is the Rocket Garden, where they garden rockets, is, I believe, the acceptable term. Robert Llewellyn as presenter on Scrap Heap Challenge back in the day. Robert Llewellyn is a super nice guy in person, and he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind all the references to old shows and whatnot. At this point, did you think it was going to launch? I was like, it's not moving. It's not moving. Oh, wait, is it? Is it? It is. The debris was noticeable, even from a quarter mile up. You could see. Charlie says the pad damage is amazing. I saw the close-up pictures that they got, and it is. Well, they knew they might need a flame diverter channel, and Starship went ahead and began the excavation work for them. If Farmers doesn't capitalize on that destroyed car, that proves marketing doesn't work. I assume, based on the age of that vehicle, and that belonged to NASA Spaceflight Channel, they knew it was going to be a loss, and I bet you they're going to sell it to a collector, because somebody will buy that car for more than they paid for it, which is probably $4,000 or $5,000, just to have a Starship smashed Plymouth Voyager. When I saw this, so first of all, I couldn't believe how clear the exhaust was. I saw it on the simulations, but I was not prepared for this image. And just having some of them out and it's still going, wow. There were a lot of little failures that did not add up to a big immediate failure. Oh, yeah, hit the like, somebody. Oh, I'll hit the like on them, but you guys can hit the like. I've only got 15 likes. Jamie said, who is this, says, no. Nope, not going to do it. At this point, it's deceptive. You can't tell. It looks like it's hanging the way the Starship did as it prepared for its belly flop. But even still, we're 2 minutes in, and we're only at 18 kilometers of altitude, which I don't know how that compares to what was predicted. I watched Marcus House's video today about what happened, what went wrong. I didn't watch Dr. Know-It-Alls because it was too long and I didn't have enough time. Seeing this, when it got this far, I thought we would see stage separation. Started the flip. I was like, oh baby, we're going to do it. But this flip stage separation is, it's never been done. You can see the daylight coming in through the gaps there. I just thought, I didn't realize it was going to be something sufficiently complicated that stage separation could be the point of failure. And we don't know if it is, even at that point, but very interesting. When do I guess the next Starship launch? 2 to 3 months. They haven't gathered enough data yet to know what to fix, I suspect, and then they're going to have to fix it. But they iterate very quickly, and I think they're going to time the next launch to coincide with the Starship being ready, the booster being ready, and the launch pad being ready. Because rapid reusability doesn't work if every time you park the car, you smash into the garage. You can't keep doing that. That's what the folks who had their cars smashed by an exploding whale should have done, sold as a collectible. There was a car in the, I want to say, early 90s that got hit by a meteor, and the insurance company wouldn't pay for it. It's an act of God. Because, you know, God loves meteors. I think that's how it works. And they were furious until someone contacted them and said, I'll buy your car. How much do you want? And they sold it for, I don't remember, $10,000, $20,000 because somebody wanted in their collection the only car known to have been smashed by a meteor. Oh. And there's the Paul Rudd. Very exciting, though. And what a flight it was. What a beautiful system. I just still can't get over that it worked. I can't get over that they got off the pad. I would have called it a success if they had just gone a little bit off the pad. If they clearing the tower is a success, I wanted them to get to at least an altitude where a rapid unscheduled disassembly would not jeopardize future permits for launch. So who knows? They could have gotten over 100,000 for that car. Yeah, and maybe they did, but also it was the early 90s, so inflation. But they gathered data, just not analyzed. Yeah, they've got. And that's another reason I'm confident they didn't hit the FTS, the flight termination system, until as late as possible. So they wanted to just keep gathering data. And then after this was done, of course, I went and watched all the other footage. I went and watched Ellie's coverage. I went and watched Tim Dodd's coverage. And it was wonderful. And Tim Dodd has the exact right attitude. He says, I'm going to fly on that thing. And then it blows up and he's like, yeah, I'm still going to fly on that thing. Yeah. And you could see at various points in the flight, you could see failures from the ground where it might have been the hydraulic system that controls the gimbaling went out. It might have been different engines flaming out. And it worked. It worked. It was so exciting. All in. Okay? Ellie getting May and Elon's brother was amazing. Oh, the fact that she got invited to that rooftop party was very, very fortunate. But she's met Elon at least once. Yeah, once at Cyber Rodeo. I gotta get into one of the factories these days, or one of the events. It'd be pretty awesome. But, you know, like I always say, maybe on the next 700 videos. Yeah. And Kimball kept saying we, our. Is he involved in SpaceX, or is it just like a family dynasty kind of thing? Yeah. And Kimball is, as far as I am aware, the cowboy emoji. I think that's correct. Rapid, unplanned cartwheels. Yeah. Went for a little bit of a tumble there. It'd be easier to get in if I looked more like Ellie. So Ellie was able to get into Cyber Rodeo on a ticket that was given to her by the Austin Owners Club, and she was able to get into AI Day 2 as a +1 for, I think, Chuck Cook, and yeah, so it's you know, they don't seem to know who I am yet, which is certainly frustrating. Yeah. Oh, he gave her an Optimus doll. Oh, she gave him an Optimus doll. Yes. And that was very cool too. It's yeah, I'll hang in there. It's frustrating. So much fun in this chat. That's a little inside joke from the pre-show chat. At 58 seconds in, Locke's level starts dropping fast. That's a good catch. So here's our lox level. Yeah, so you got the lox is a little bit higher than the, I assume that's cream cheese. Oh, wow. Good catch. Oh my gosh. Who said that? Who said that? Ika, thank you. Oh yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Interesting. Yeah, they'll know me soon. Will they? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I did notice the imbalance between fuel and liquid oxygen as well, but I didn't know it was not supposed to be like that. So interesting. And no, John Bear is not going to England. He doesn't have the time with his Turo fleet of, what's he up to, 50-ish cars. I haven't gone into the financials with him, but he's of the mind that this is the thing for him to do. So that's terrifying for me. I don't have the stomach for that kind of risk anymore. They did say the engines were burning rich, so that explains a lot. That would do it. Oh, well, we've got a few minutes because I spent my whole week prepping for shows for while we're gone. Bear and I shot back-to-back 7 episodes of Blank is Doomed. Hyundai is Doomed ran yesterday. Next week we've got VinFast and Nikola. Week after we've got Rivian and Ford. Week after we've got GM and BYD. Which ones are actually doomed? And then I've got some interviews with Brian Rashetsky and with Randy Kirk and with Kelly Sloan from the Michigan Owners Club. Kelly, hello, if you're there. Yeah, Bear has a risk appetite I cannot imagine. Starship was bageled. Scott, you got it. You understood. Pretty cool. SpaceX is willing to take huge risks. Is it a huge risk? Ellie interviewed a city council member who's in charge of the economic development for the city of Brownsville, who said SpaceX came, and this was as of December, SpaceX had spent already $480 million at Starbase. And I said, $480 million as of December? That means they're not even at $1 billion for what we've seen so far. NASA paid $1 billion for the SLS launch tower so far, and it's still climbing. This is, you got this far for less than $1 billion. The N1 rocket never made it this far. And even in 1960s dollars, even in Soviet dollars, rubles, I'm sure they spent well in excess of $1 billion. This was a very good example of the kind of cost savings Musk companies are capable of delivering. Well, that's my taxpayer dollars blowing up. No, it's not. Artemis, I don't think, has actually paid anything yet. This is all development, and Starship development began long before Artemis was funded. So they've got a lot of... It's not your money. If you're mad that billionaires are hoarding cash, delight in them spending $1 billion to give it to people like these, who are very hardworking, smart people who are in a position to change the world. And we got way better footage of our rocket blowing up than the N1. Yeah. I've only seen, I think, one angle of the N1, and I think of only one of the failures. Talked about just a bit ago. Yeah. Did you see Ellie interview Elon's mom? I did. I think we did talk about it. Yep. Well, we definitely talked about her talking to Kimball, which was in the same interview. Elon doesn't look super jazzed, and I think that's disappointing. I think a little smile is warranted. I mean, not to be sexist, but you look prettier when you smile, doll. But it's a very nice launch tower. It isn't. I mean, I guess it is, but it ain't $1 billion nice. Let's see. Yeah, so there was a guy saying, yeah, it's our tax dollars blowing up. And it isn't. It's someone else's dollars blowing up. And it's not like the money is gone. The money was spent. It was still spent. This rocket was never going to be recovered. anything anything that gathered data was a success, and the more data it gathered, the more success. And well, it was supposed to go 90 minutes. There wasn't a whole lot more data to get after stage separation, really. I guess the boost back and landing, I guess, is the biggest part. The first 15 minutes would have been 98% of the data. Yeah. Stage 0 was looking pretty. Might need a little bit of surgery. I keep thinking the tower needs to be 10 meters taller. It's 500 feet, I think, isn't it? But far cheaper than Twitter. So that was the one thing he did teach the lesson. The lesson he taught there was he was able to cut staff by 75%, and the user experience has been diminished by failures by less than 1%. And I think that was part of the catalyst that made Google and Apple and Facebook realize, maybe we need to do some layoffs too. And they've all done layoffs, and my user experience on all of those companies has not changed either. Yeah, stage 0 just needs a paint job. Ugh. Interesting to see how many tiles were lost at takeoff. That's a problem. That's going to need to be fixed. Joe Tetmeyer, I was able to get a piece of a heat tile on the beach in South Padre. That's not good. I see more ads on YouTube lately. I have premium, not on this account. On this account, I have ad blocker, but I have a different account for inside that goes on the Roku TV so that we can have ad blocker. But the ad situation is terrible for online, and it's always been pretty bad. Yeah, some Bondo and paint. I think, Ika, you're right. Just spackle it over. Just a little bit of putty. Sand it a bit. I bet fake tiles go up for sale on the web. You know what? Unless they're a top secret proprietary mix, they should sell rejects for like $500 each. I wouldn't buy one, but I know a lot of people who would. So you guys, I'm going to be doing live shows from the road. I don't know when. Don't know how much advance notice you'll get. I know Randy Kirk would like me to do some live segments while I'm there for him. I know I'm going to be still doing Herbert on Fridays at noon, from England and Ireland. So it'll be great. I get to decompress now. Yeah. Oh, Starship could be even bigger. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you meant Starship. Again, to my patrons, you get early access, bonus content, all that good stuff. If there's any last minute comments, get them in so I can address them before we sign off. Yeah. I could have picked a better topic, but my brain is simply fried. Uh-oh. Am I disconnected? Doesn't look like I am. Oh, that's very strange. Okay, so I'll wait a second and make sure we're not missing any chat here. Oh, that's all right. Well, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you, clever robots, on the next one.